and welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog, Discord server, maybe with Facebook or Twittering, and an Instagram shite. So in any case, today's a Sunday, which means I'm probably going to talk a little bit about AD&D 1E. But before I do, looks like on Gamers Health this coming Friday we might have a guest. Woohoo! Actually, we got some potential guests for Gamers Health. And remember, the whole point of Gamers Health is to change a life, right? To focus people on their health. Because you only have one life to live. Unless you're me, in which case you're a fucking cat and you kind of owe numerous lives back. But yes, I've all things considered, I guess I've been lucky. But I'll be this Friday, hopefully. Or some coming Friday. We'll definitely have a guest. So, AD&D 1E. Last week I talked about the wonderful thing of weapon speed. Now, another chart right around there was the weapon versus AC adjustment. Now, why this confused me, pretty much like weapon speed confused me, because weapon speed was only when both sides were fighting with weapons. If you had natural weaponry, it didn't really come into play. Same thing goes with weapon versus AC adjustment. So there are adjustments for all the pure ACs going from 2 to 10. Remember, AD&D 1E, descending AC. And AC2 was plate and shield. That was plate mail, not full plate armor. And you had AC adjustments for such. Never, ever played with it because it was like, alright, maybe you can say that it applies to some humanoids, right? Orcs, goblins, kobolds. Maybe they're wearing some kind of armor. Maybe you can figure out what their armor is. But does it apply to the undead? Does it apply if somebody was wearing magical protection? There were a lot of things that got really quirky with that. So, needless to say, it was one thing that we promptly ignored. Now, my experience, I only went to Gen Con once. My only other prior experience playing at a convention was, back in, I guess, 86. Columbia University had a gaming convention. And myself, my friend Andrew, and our friend Lenny, we went to Columbia for this convention on a Saturday or a Sunday. And none of us really knew the city that well, or the subways that well. So we took the subway in, we got a little bit lost. We got out on the wrong side of Morningside Park. Now, I flash forward to 2002, and now I'm a brand new sergeant in NYPD. I'm in a precinct that covers Columbia University, Morningside Park. So I recognize stuff that I had seen when I was 19. And I remember we were on the wrong side of the park and we approached a police officer on foot. And we said to him, well, listen, I'm trying to get to Columbia University. There's this convention going on. And he starts giving us instructions to cut through the park because there's this long set of stairs that built into the far wall of Morningside Park. And he starts pointing at me. He goes, oh, wait, no. Never mind. Go south to 110th Street and skirt the edge of the park and then go up, I guess it was Broadway. And why was that?
The stairs were probably very robbable.
The whole park was very robbable, but yes.
I don't know, something about the stairs often.
Well,
Not gonna get robbed in the stairs.
Well, the stairs were actually robbable when I was working there. And we were known as the Hole in the Donut, the 2-6 precinct, in that it was technically in Harlem, but because of Columbia University, crime was low. Also, secret story, our northern sector was cut off and reassigned to our northern neighbor, the 3-0 precinct, to lower the crime stats so Columbia University could have better crime stats. But we played in an AD&D 1A game with very high level characters. Everybody was like 12th, 13th, 15th. And I got stuck with the Druid. I never really played a Druid, and I've got this 13th, 14th level Druid. And this is AD&D. So as much as I theoretically didn't know how to play a Druid, I lived the books back then. So I was like, alright, I can do this. Now, something to note. We didn't use weapon speed in that convention game. We didn't use weapons versus AC adjustment. We did, apparently, use spells as written. And let me just say, when you're in a dungeon that is fucking you, and it was fucking us, and you have an imaginative use of rock to mud, because at that level for a Druid, rock to mud has a huge area of effect that is multiple levels of a dungeon. And discussing with some of my fellow players and telling them what I believe that this spell could probably do, they agreed with me, and we presented it to the DM, who did the math and threw his adventure to the ground and said, fuck it, we're done. It goes to show that even AD&D as written was probably still a bit broken. And I think there were a lot of classes. I don't think the Bard class was fully play tested. High level Druids, probably not. Because the problem with the Druid in AD&D 1E is that they really weren't suited much for dungeon use. Or at least I didn't think they were until I found a way to use rock to mud to fucking destroy a whole dungeon. Creative use for the win. But that's also the convention where, well, my friend Andrew got an invite back from the Columbia Gamers Club, because I think he played a magic user and he didn't fuck up the adventure. So he got an invite to return. But it's where I grabbed 2nd edition RuneQuest. I got the hardcover with the red leatherette, fake leather hardcover with Pavis and Big Rubble. Still sealed, but the boxes were partially crushed and water damaged. I didn't care. My God, that was my non-AD&D 1A go-to game for years, RuneQuest 2. I'll have to do an episode about that one day. Alright, folks. It's Sunday. That means that it was football. You couldn't tell. I poked in. I caught a little bit of the Jets game. Wasn't impressed. Been watching a bit of the Giants game. Not the Giants game. The Dallas Cowboys game. Have had the volume off. Not all that impressed. I think I might be getting over my sports addiction. Go figure that one out. Well, folks, because of COVID, there are no fans in the stadiums. Because of COVID, I'm going to ask you to use your common sense to keep yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends safe and healthy. If you need medical advice, don't seek it from me. I'm not a medical professional. Seek a medical professional's advice. Ignore the talking heads on TV. I don't care who they're talking for. And be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice. And God willing, I'll talk with you all tomorrow. Oh, I'm yawning. Laters.